Melissa and Joe and Allie and Rosie.
So I guess I can talk a little bit about what my science project is going to be this coming semester and kind of how that it wraps into what Melissa has been looking at with the Poison Book Project. And so these are three examples of some books that we have at Winterthur that have tested positive for arsenic, but as you can see, don't have that classic green color. And so initially, I really want to look more at the kind of the dyes, as Melissa said, what could be causing this arsenic? Is it pesticide? Is it the dyes itself? And then in talking to Rosie too a little bit at our last science class, I'm also curious about how anomalous are these books? And so I would also love to do a little bit more testing on some books, maybe from the Winterthur collection that are also from this time period, also these colors, and to see, is this more common than just these three books? Are there more arsenical books out there that are kind of hiding in their non-green cloth covers? And so my project is still very much in the developmental stage, and also coming to this talk has I've just got so many ideas that it's going to be hard for me to narrow down. But yes, I would also welcome any feedback from any present today about areas of interest where this project could go.
That's great. Thank you, Joe. And I would just add that Joe's project sort of connects with one of our bigger Bibtox themes, which is how do we talk about this research with our colleagues and with the public. Being able to associate arsenic with green bindings is sort of a discrete, well-defined sort of parameter, and finding mystery arsenic on other colors of bindings is it's just a little more concerning, and it's hard to know how do we share that messaging with people without causing just widespread panic about whole genres of books. And regarding the pesticide angle, I wonder, Allie, would you like to just talk about the book that you generously donated to the Woodpack Study Collection for research?
Sure. So this is one of those cases of staying on top of social media and things like that. The whole story started as a passing tweet from the Petersfield Bookshop in the UK. And they posted this book with a label on it that said it had been treated with pesticide. And I said, oh my gosh, what are you going to do with this? Are you going to sell it? Let me know when it's cataloged. I would love to buy it from you and send it on to Winterthur. And they DM'd me and said, like, no, please take this for free. We don't want to sell it. It has pesticide on it. We don't know what to do. So here we are. I paid for the shipping and it came over here, and then I pinged it over to Winterthur. But as part of that conversation, another book dealer, I think he might be retired now, mentioned that he had also had a book with a treated with pesticide label, although he couldn't find any information about it in his files. He may have sold it, or it might just be kicking around in his house somewhere. But yeah, it's really, it's like Melissa was saying, it's a communication issue. And like I mentioned before, how do you talk about these things? Because booksellers, we exist to sell books. It's a strangely capitalistic sort of thing. If we can't sell books for money, we can't stay in business, we can't keep selling books. But how do you sell a book that's dangerous? Especially when it is explicitly stated. It's not like does this have arsenic on it or not? We don't know. We haven't tested it. So it's very curious. It sort of brings to mind I think it's Fahrenheit 451, that there was an edition of it printed on oh, what is that stuff that gives you lung cancer?
Asbestos?
Asbestos. Yeah, I think there was a special edition printed on asbestos that was unburnable, but it was on asbestos.
That's
So
wild.
I know, yeah. I think Margaret Atwood might also have a book that has asbestos covers. I can't remember. But there are these sort of curious art books and things that are produced today that are made of toxic materials, and I don't really know how institutions handle those. So it's a fascinating sort of avenue that has had very little exploration done on it. And of course, the sort of popular conception of these poison books, like I mentioned before, is they are poisonous because they are pesticidal. So there's like this innate connection for a lot of people that no matter what sort of pigment or color or whatever, that it exists on these books as a pesticidal preventative measure, not just because it looks pretty or because it was a cheaper form of green or whatever. There's this sort of notion that it has to be there for a functional reason.
Interesting. I'll just
Rather
say
than
in
a
a moment that at Becky in the chat said that they have one at the New York Public Library, although I'm not sure which one, 451 and Margaret Atwood.
I did just want to note that the pesticide label in the book that Allie sent us looks very much like the label that we saw in Laura's presentation. So I suspect it may be, you know, we may find a similar pesticide to what Laura's research has been turning up.
It seems very strongly tied to British colonial documents.